I'm Captain Randall, coming to you from the deep south. It's October 31st, 2017. Pecans are falling and I'm picking the nuts out, and it's one of the healthiest foods there is. But I'm not here to talk about all the food and whatnot. I'm here to give you the secret of life. And maybe you can organize your thinking and get straight on health and healing, and probably a whole bunch of other things that have been covered up in our corporate media. Like Jesse says, follow the money. With health, I say follow the electrons. Every life form on the planet runs on electrons. That's the energy currency of everything biological. When you're short of electrons, it's like your phone went dead. You got no bars and you can't talk to anybody. And what do you got to do? You got to plug it in. You wait a while till sufficient quantity of electrons flows into the battery and into the device to power it. Well, all life's the same deal. It's all powered by electrons. You metabolize the food and oxygen and water that you consume, and you turn it into electrons. That's the basic science of life. I mean, I've been spouting this stuff for over 10 years, and I've never had a scientific complaint. Nobody's ever questioned any of it, because it's right there in your first year chemistry book or beginning biology book. And there's no, it's the most solid science there is. So I'd say start there. I mean, doctors go on and on with, there must be millions and millions of studies, and they study. Of course, there's money in studying. And how you could ever get to the bottom of anything from trying to digest a million studies is absurd. You can't do it. You start with the beginning chemistry. It's called redox chemistry. You can Google it. Redox reactions. It's a boy-girl world out there. Nothing happens until you start exchanging electrons. You got a positive proton, you got another molecule with electrons. The strongest positive charge pulls the electrons, and every molecular reaction works on that principle. That and the acid-base reaction, which is looking at the whole situation from the point of view of the proton. And it's very simple though, but definitely Google up oxidation reduction and acid-base reactions, and that's what makes the world go round. There's the boys and the girls. They dance around any neutral molecules that are not players, and you don't see them much. At the point of electrons, they supply the energy to operate your cells and your immune system, and the opposite of that is oxidation. Oxidation tears down all molecules. That's electrons, bring them together and form them, and let them multiply or replicate in your cells. Oxidation destroys them. Oxidation is what your immune system runs on. Electrons are what your cells run on. Oxidation is simply burning, or slower form is rust. It's just the theft of electrons by a stronger molecule, and that's what your body uses to destroy cancers, all the pathogens, the bacteria, virus, and so forth, and destroy cell debris, and to get rid of dead cells. And it's the basic function of everything, and to not start there is, and to organize your thinking there is a huge mistake. But somehow modern medicine skipped that step and they went straight to the drug for the symptom. But I'll guarantee you every symptom it's just one disease. It's a shortage of electrons. And when you're short of electrons, your cell function diminishes, your DNA doesn't express. You know, it's not genetics, it's genetic expression. And if your DNA is not expressing, you're not getting your hormones and enzymes that make everything else work. It's generally an area of stagnant circulation in your body where these things happen, and the oxygen doesn't get to those cells. They don't produce the energy to power themselves, and it's a downward spiral from there, because once that body charge goes, the voltage, the electron count, once that goes, once the pH drops into the acidic range, you can't get oxygen into those cells to make more energy. So you're basically screwed at that point. And what I've been trying to get across to the public and to doctors and everybody else that I can talk to is that one of your cheapest electron sources is vitamin C. And vitamin C does a lot more than just supply electrons. It also has its oxidative side. It produces hydrogen peroxide, which is what the body's immune system normally uses to destroy diseases, pathogens, and cancers, and so forth. So vitamin C is a thing that's been covered up. Just about every hospital admission, people are low in vitamin C. And the recommended daily intake of vitamin C is something like 200 milligrams. That's like nothing. It's like that. I mean, if your battery is low, you have to charge up with a whole sack full of vitamin C. And that's the basis of my protocol. And it goes into alkalizing the body, which protects the electrons. It goes into detoxing metals and other toxins, organic toxins, and your emotional state, your tonus of your whole being, and that goes into stress, relaxation, fear. That all starts with death consciousness, fear of death. And all those things just drain electrons, the metals, the bad foods, the counterfeit foods, bad fats, and high fructose corn sugar, and all these things. They just drain your electrons, and your metabolism can't keep up with it. Your circulation gets stagnant, oxygen can't reach your cells, you can't generate that electricity in your mitochondria. And this is all basic chemistry and biology, so you really can't question the facts. But what you got to do is not go downstream for a drug to fix a symptom. You need to go back up to the source of the river and take care of business there and make the conditions right in your body so that diseases just don't happen. I mean, it's the amount of suffering, the epidemic of all these diseases, cancer, heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, obesity, you name it. It all starts up at the mountain. And by the time the river trickles down into the swamp where all the bottom feeders are, the drug companies, the supplement salesmen, all the phony health idea salesmen. Now there's little smidgens of truth throughout, and they give you little fragments of ideas of how to help yourself, but they don't give you the whole deal. And the whole deal is you need to jack up your voltage, your body voltage. Your cells actually can't replicate themselves on low voltage. If you're 30, 25 millivolts, your cells stop replicating. Below that, they go into cancer stage. When the cell becomes hypoxic, the energy metabolism changes over to fermentation, which is a low low payout, low yield type of metabolism, and the cell becomes acidic, and then it feels it's in a death grip, and it multiplies out of control, and there's your tumors and all your cancers. So cancer is basically the apex disease, the apex symptom, but all the other diseases start in the same way. They just take a little different path, a little different symptom. And one thing to start with is huge volumes of vitamin C. Whatever your health condition, if you have gum disease is a good tip-off. That's one of your first symptoms. Heart disease follows. I mean, it's scurvy. It's one of the first recognized diseases on the planet. They had to give sailors that were away for months on end, they had to supply them with vitamin C, or their teeth would fall out. Their entire structure would start to shrink and disintegrate, and they'd die. And so they figured out, well, you send some lemons, limes, pickles, whatever along on the trip. It would keep the sailors alive, and of course, you know, the company would make more money. So, you know, it was a common sense thing. But scurvy is basically what heart disease is, what cancer is, what all these other diseases are, and it's just a low voltage state. I don't want to go on and on about this because I just want to get you to where you can organize your thinking and you know, straighten up and fly right. If you go for the conventional medical information you'll catch on TV or internet or whatever, it's all angled toward making money, and it doesn't really help you. It gives you little crutches here and there, but it doesn't solve the problem, and you have to go back and supply the proper conditions for life. If you've ever kept an aquarium, you know you got to keep it clean, you got to keep it oxygenated. You have to feed the fish, but not overfeed the fish, because that will foul the water. You have to get the wastes out of the water, keep it clean, oxygenated. The fish is fine, it'll live a long time. What was I going to say? Anyway, your cells are just like fish in an aquarium, and you think about it that way. The pH has to be correct, which means the voltage is correct. pH and voltage, you know, are closely related, and you need to get these basic concepts so that you can organize your thinking and protect your own health. Now, this goes into every area. Once you start at the beginning, and don't overcomplicate your thinking on all these symptoms and zillions of drugs and studies and whatnot. It's simple. I mean, I'm Captain Obvious, and but you gotta be able to organize these things, and the world's largest supercomputers couldn't make sense of all the information that's out there. So anyway, I developed a protocol. I got a DIY shovel-ready protocol here. It tells you what to do, how to do it, which is most of the battle. I can tell you to take vitamin C, but this tells you how to take it, what to get, and it's the cheapest way to heal your diseases or stay healthy. And who wants to spend their years back and forth to the doctor and coming home from the pharmacy with bags full of drugs and taking the stuff and then dealing with side effects and back and forth. And you know, look at the price of health insurance today. I mean, at least $1,000 a month. It's ridiculous. You can buy vitamin C for $11 a pound. There's a number of good brands. Pure vitamin C powder. Mix it with baking soda. There's your start. The idea of quantity and proportion is what escapes people. So anyway, there's the book. I make about $2.50 a copy on it after Amazon and postage and printing. So I'm not rolling in dough, but I would like to turn you on to the truth. keep people healthy. You know, unhealthy people are a drag on everybody. Okay. Have a good Halloween.